All right. And meeting started as 7:06. Oh wait, Jay Lavoy. Oh, you're doing that, right, Mark?
He's muted again.
Mark, you're muted.
Yeah. Okay.
Or was we muted?
Oh, thanks. I'm letting people in. So Jen is trying to get Mary in.
Okay. All right.
Jen's muted.
You're on mute, Jen.
So do we have minutes from the last meeting?
I don't know that we brought them, but they were written and sent out to everyone.
Yeah, they were sent out. Unfortunately, I did not bring those tonight, Mike.
Okay. Did everybody review those?
Yeah,
Okay, so, would anybody like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
motion to accept the meeting.
All right, anybody second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, amendments, changes? No?
No.
All in favor?
I
Abstention,
am
me?
the extension, I was there.
Yeah, I have an abstention because I didn't read them clearly. So, all right, any opposed? Moving along. Let's see, communications, any communications?
No,
How about what Henry?
Yeah,
we
Henry,
have Henry under communication.
Yeah.
that was the one from
Yeah,
him and John Burrell.
yeah,
Do you want me to read it to you?
yeah, I have it here, yeah,
Okay, good.
so,
You want to read it, or do you want somebody to read it?
no, I'm just, so I was trying to figure out if this was actually part of an older work item and we could probably put it under.
All business,
Well, it could actually be under water quality, so why don't we just.
wait,
Yeah, we'll wait on that.
okay.
Then we had another one under communication related to the the height of benches and chairs. That was
It was a raft.
rafts, but he also said he wanted to discuss that too.
Well, that would be in permits, right? Right, is that
Yeah.
a permit issue? Okay, all right, so let's, we'll leave that there. Okay, any other communications? Okay. And Mary, glad you can make it. Okay, committee reports, the dam,
I sent those out tonight, I just got them from Jen. Did you get them?
yeah, I have the most recent one, which was, the 16th. Oh,
Yes,
no, I'm sorry.
yes, the 16th of May was the last one we got.
Yeah, May 16th here, yep. So,
59 degrees.
plus half an inch,
Yeah,
10% clear, 15% clear. No sign of seepage, so we're, appear to be in good shape. Any other contributions to the lake? Or excuse me, to the dam?
Didn't we used to have the temperature?
yes, it is up there on the right-hand
Oh, I
corner.
didn't see
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry, 59.
59 degrees.
I didn't, for some reason I didn't see that.
A balmy 59.
Yeah.
If you
Not
float,
not stopping him at the beach from swimming. Holy mackerel.
I went for a swim this weekend, yeah.
That hadn't come out considerably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. After a sweaty mountain bike ride, it's perfect.
Water cleared up a lot. Earlier, it was pretty cloudy.
Yeah. Yeah. So underwater quality, cleared up, so that's good to report. And looks like Henry and John are going to coordinate taking of additional Secchi disc and depth temperatures to support the once a month testing that our consultant is performing. We're also thinking of doing this once a month, but on a coordinated basis so that between the consultant and local efforts. LMAC will be getting readings about every 2 weeks, which should help us learn more about the behavior of our thermocline as it responds to wind, temperature, rain, and other variables. In my absence, could someone assist with this coordination and link John into the loop?
I didn't know what he meant by that.
Yeah, you got me there.
Well, were he and John going to be doing those tests?
Yes,
And is that what he's asking to help?
yeah, but I don't know what he meant by into the loop. I don't know whether he meant email or,
Yeah, I was assuming John already knew he was gonna be involved in this, right?
well, John was on the board for years.
Well, it
So,
sounds like he said he spoke to him a month ago, but he's kind of looking for somebody to recon.
so Phil and Ed Al, excuse me, I could give you a quick update. Henry and I have been texting. Two things. Number one, they want to coordinate going every 2 weeks when the new, the name escapes me already, ESS group starts their field visits for water quality in June. Mark Walter, I don't know if he's at the meeting. As of last Thursday, the contract had not been completed, so we couldn't set that date. So I told Henry I would coordinate with John. Number two, the new group, ESS group, is going to provide us with an electronic portal for us to send all of our materials, files, et cetera, to them. And then Henry and or John can access a file that ESS will put together so that they can get the Henry and John's into the water quality file that ESS will be putting together. So I hope that makes sense.
Sure, so the loop that Henry was referring to is the loop between ESS and you and he, is that?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
got it, okay. Cool. All right. And on that note, ESS, is there any further development as far as Mark, the contract?
Yes, we just got the revised corrections from our insurance company, Kerma, and we're merging those with the revised updates from our law firm, Haller and Sage. So I imagine tomorrow, the latest and greatest ESS contract will go back to ESS. So we're almost done.
Okay, are they anticipating these insurance changes, or is this just another round of negotiation?
It's just minor lawyer to lawyer, trying to reduce all possible liability risk to either side. So it's the game and it's fun, and hopefully we only have one more week of this.
Okay. Where does this land with our original schedule with them?
In
We're
the, go ahead.
Go
Mark.
ahead, Mary. We're behind, but we're
Yeah.
almost there.
But Mark Walter, to his credit, asked the former ecosystem, now GZA, to do a May water quality test and to provide an annual report to close out our work with them. So we're not going to be quote unquote behind on any of our measurements. We're just going to be, we had anticipated ESS would start in May. Since they didn't, GZA did it, and then our contract ends with them. So thank you, Mark.
Oh, welcome, Mary. Yeah, we're almost done with the previous contract, and then with their final annual report, we'll close everything out. So it'll be a clean transition.
Okay, great. So it sounds like we can anticipate that ESS will be starting early June, which is.
Yes, I believe that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anything else on water quality?
Michael, just a question, and you may want to move it to later, about John Burrell. Is he still going to be on the board, or do you want to move him to later and just simply stay as an assistant?
Yeah, let's table that,
Okay.
because, yeah, but I wanted to sort of keep things in their buckets here, so, okay. All right, so moving on, water quality fishing, any reports of fishing?
They've been doing a lot of it, that's all I say.
I have a question about the fishing.
Yep.
Is there any, we don't start lake patrol or any of that type of patrol till May 28th, was that correct? From what I understood? So the fishermen are all on the lake, which is fine, I think it's wonderful sport. But when you have a problem, you have no one to reach out to. And so I didn't know if anyone else around the lake was having any types of problems with the fishermen. But when I called, it was a Friday morning, and fortunately, the office was supposed to be closed, but someone came in and worked at the beach house, the beach house there on Friday, and was able to handle that situation. And my question is, there's several questions here. One, how many keys have we given out? Because I know how many boats I've been counting coming in. And who's monitoring and what are some of the guidelines the fishermen have on, for example, coming close to shore? And what is there anything? So when I called the town, they said there were no guidelines. So I think that I have multiple questions here, I guess.
Yeah. So for I appreciate your looping under fishing. This is really an access, safety, and regulation, maybe question, and maybe it's a hybrid of both. I don't know. Mark, do you know how many keys have been handed out so far?
I do not know that, but the answer to regulations is, my understanding is, it's as long as you're below steerage speed, you can be as close to the shore as you want. I
Correct.
don't believe there's
Correct.
any
Okay.
number of feet you have to stay away from private property, as long as you're just putting along.
Correct.
And that was what the case is. I just was concerned, like when they're all within inside the docks and they're inside your dock.
That's still mid-steerage.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
They can
So-
go anywhere they want to go.
that's
Right.
good
I
to know.
put a sign on your dock that you're not welcome near my dock. I think that-
Well, actually, the gentleman said to me, and I usually use that term, that I've asked him every year not to do that. So I think,
Well, yeah, I mean, we.
but I didn't know what the ruling was and no one could give me an answer. So thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate it.
I do a cannonball right in the middle of the water. Right?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's a
there
good
are,
point.
I did hear that there were motion sensor sprinklers.
I
Right.
was just going to mention that, Mike. It is a, I guess, positive side effect of trying to keep geese away. It does keep others away.
Good thought, thank you. No, I just didn't know what the guidelines were, so I don't want to overstep any, I don't want to create hard feelings, but I want to know what they were. Thank you.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I was curious about the number of keys that were going in before we have lake patrol on. Because that, how many keys are going out and how many boats are coming and going, because if there's a problem, you have no one to call.
Well, you can always count. I'm sorry,
Pardon me?
go ahead.
911.
Yeah, you can always call the police. I mean, if there's an
They have a
issue,
rescue boat.
yeah,
They're out now, they're out practicing.
yeah. So, the lake patrol is not your only means of relief or support if there's, depending on the severity of.
Right, okay,
of what
great.
it-
The other thing is that the head of Marine Patrol is Mark Walba, who's the head of the rec department. He's at Murphy House most days.
Right,
That's his office.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he was off on Friday.
Yeah.
Of course, you're doing entitled to a day off,
Yeah.
and that's why I called.
Okay, cool. So as we dovetail into access, safety, and regulations, is there anything else other on that?
I'm sorry, I missed probably communications. Has there been any discussion yet in terms of lack of application by the Mr. Dobush? And is that an access safety?
Well,
or
no,
is
that, are you talking about permit
Permit.
review?
That's a permit or lack thereof review? Okay.
Yeah,
hold.
we'll get to permits in a few lines here. But as far as access, safety, regulations, anything? No? No? Okay.
I have one question.
Sure.
I think we talked about it at the last meeting, about that sign that they were gonna put up at the boat launch. Is that a go or no?
For the bait?
No,
was that?
for rules and regulations.
Oh, wasn't,
Well, that was part of the general information board that we discussed, that we had tabled.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it might, it'd be a good idea to have that, and it would also serve, the point of the early fishermen too, they'd have a number to call, they go over to the board, I don't know if they can make it in to see the board, but at least.
See when they launch.
At least when they launch, if they're launching their boat, going out early and using the gate, then they could look and see, here's the contact if I get in trouble out there and I have a number. But, we had talked about it, we had tabled it, and I think Mark Walter, you may have said that, we could get a discount on a communication board somewhere, so. This was several months back when I just.
Yes,
started-
we can help you get that printed. If you can give us final copy that LMAC agrees to and Board of Selectmen could bless.
Okay,
can
so
make time.
I'll resurface what I put together for
Yeah.
next meeting, and I'll show you what I have. I put together whole proposals and
Yeah.
some examples of what the communication could be like, and then
Yeah.
maybe if we can take some time on the agenda to all agree what should be on it.
Yeah.
And
But that
We should be good to go.
what's really helpful is oftentimes people say, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You say, it's right there.
Yeah. Can you
I
please,
can show it tonight.
what, Mike?
yeah,
That'd be nice.
well, could you put the general info board at boat launch under old business and leave it there?
Yeah.
Please. And if you want to send that out to the board.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because if people get it ahead of time.
Yeah.
We can have it as an agenda item to cover the topics and content of it for next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll send it out before.
Great.
One more thing, Bob, there is a place in Manchester that we had those brochures made up for LMAC, when we did the distribution to the membership around the lake. They might be able to do it. I'll get the name of it for you. They did the map.
Mark
Said he
has,
has some-
he has a source.
Town has a source.
Oh, town is a source,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I think we have to decide if it's gonna be a permanent board, so, it's not updatable or it's updatable. So the problem with that is somebody's always gotta go and change data. Either you agree to the rules and you just put it on like a, a little kind of not a, cover with plexiglass or removable, or
Yeah.
it's a permanent board on like some type of material.
Hmm.
I prefer the latter because you don't have to update. Just put the rules down, put a couple contact numbers, maybe a picture of the lake, some information. Right, I mean, at least they'll have. the
Yeah,
rules.
but-
And then maybe at the bottom, to Phyllis's point, you can put the little hand, you can take it with you, put it in your pocket. So the people launching early can take that, here's the contact number if I get stuck.
Well,
That could be a solution to both problems.
well, there's a lot of things we can do is, anytime a sign shop can just, do another vinyl overlay if something changes, so that's not a big deal. And there are now, QR codes, right? So you can put a QR code and a link to other information that may change. So, I think we have a lot of flexibility here and ability to.
Or if Mark wants to give us money, we'll go LED.
And-
Do something.
No, that's
and-
not happening.
100-inch, flat
We'll
screen.
put the 4th of July logo up there, and it's.
Well, wait a minute, but then we can have movie night, we'll get some surround sound, come on, let's think outside the box here.
Let me tell you what goes on at that public beach is already movie night after 10 o'clock.
Fair enough. Okay, watershed management plan, any updates there? Okay. Stormwater culverts, do we know what the status is there, Mark, for?
Well, we have done through our engineers, 6 of our major culverts. We have a full report and a 6-year game plan of how to fix them all, or at least what's involved. And I have not presented that to the Board of Selectmen yet, but I have costs and I have a full analysis. So that's that's the culverts that are going, and I can tell you which ones they are. They're Mock Road over Clark Brook, Egerton Road over Mock Brook, Cheeseboro Bridge Road over Unnamed Brook, Old Willimantic Road over Unnamed Brook, Pine Street over Guilford Brook, and Aridony Road over Unnamed Brook. I don't know if the brooks are actually unnamed, but the engineers didn't know, or they didn't know what the names were. So we have a start, and luckily Aridony, I think, will be the easiest. We might even be able to fix that ourselves. That big hump in Aridony that you keep having is due to the culvert's still okay, but the fill above the culvert's collapsing. So we dig it all out and then pour cement in, repair it, and then repave the road. So that's my easiest one of all the culverts. The rest will be much bigger projects.
Okay. And where were we at? There was gonna be a survey for the some of these.
78 others.
What's that?
78 other
I thought they were
culverts.
80.
Yeah, culverts and wash,
Basins, that's,
yeah.
So-
isn't that Mary and Jim doing that though?
Yeah, we
We,
haven't.
we do not have those on maps. I think that's gonna be an issue of figuring it all out and walking me around and Beth Lunt and show us where you know are the problem culverts that need to be addressed and start a game plan. The same way I assigned our engineers to do the 6 major culverts on the roads, I need LMAC to point out what culverts you think we have problems with. And then we'll have to start the research on which ones go across private property and, you know, all the unknowns.
Was there, Mary, was there a survey on that, or I can't remember the status there?
No, the first phase, and I had just, Mark, I copied you on my email to Beth Lunt, was to be, Beth was going to provide us with some guidance in terms of where these 70 to 100 culverts are, because whatever she has researched, now she thinks there's more than 100 potentially. So Beth and I have not, I've not received anything from Beth. I thought it was going to be on the GIS map, and I went on the GIS map and could find nothing. So we need to get those somewhat locations, and if the town does not have it, I guess we need to start walking around. I mean, we all know what's on Sleepy Hollow or Webster Lane or Woodland Terrace, et cetera. But I guess we're going to have to map them ourselves. But to some extent, like the company that comes around and sucks out all the culverts, or they at least know where they are. So someone
Right.
must have a map. So the first phase was to get the map. The second phase was then to do the walk around with you, Beth, and an engineer. So we still haven't completed the first phase.
Okay. So do we just leave this as an open item in old business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually in the minutes last week to develop the plan for the 76 plus or minus.
Yeah.
Right.
Mary, just some food for thought on the one that's in my yard, and the reason I can speak about it, it is on my map. That's at the town, so maybe somebody has to look at every map on every waterfront piece of property on the lake.
Okay.
Because mine, it's just a thought, but
Oh, you have like an 100 site plan or whatever?
yeah, it shows, because I have a catch basin that's
So
about
Steve,
10 feet
is it-
off the road. And then a pipe that goes from the catch basin in the road, halfway through the property, and then it goes out of the pipe through this riprap drain down into the lake.
Yeah.
So, but it is on the map, and I didn't put it there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's on my property map, because there's a pipe that comes from the catch basin in the road.
Right. Okay.
But some of them, like the one in Dean's yard next door, is just a crappy old rock.
No.
swale
Yeah, and I'm
type
sure
of.
that's not on the map. I don't even think his house is on the map. But.
Well, I
some-
think it's, if,
some of the
if we can find that the town has some sort of resource, that's a hell of a lot less work than starting to wander around the entire lake.
Well, at least you'd have an idea what's under the ground too,
Yeah,
if it's on the maps. Maybe put out a thing in the, our bulletin with,
Ripples?
in ripples
And ask people.
and ask people if they have one.
we may have to resort to something like that.
Yeah, just a couple
Good
ideas.
thought. Yeah, good thought. Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, so we're gonna leave the survey of the
There's 10 of them right near my house.
other culverts,
Right at the base of Lake Woods.
To
and
old
swales
business?
to old business, and we'll have to work through that, just so we don't lose sight of it, because I know there are some, that are problematic, near my house, one neighbor has blocked it up and it's diverted water into the basement of the other neighbor, so it's not fun, so. Okay. All right, so that's, we got that, the dam, emergency plan. Dam plan without the end.
Oh, I think, was I supposed to get a copy of that to?
Yeah, we asked about that last time, and I think it was
I'm
either
sorry.
gonna be put online.
It's still on my shelf. I have to find out how to get it to you.
Are we gonna try to put that online? No.
I'll see if I can. Dam emergency plan online.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't mean to be paranoid, is that something that should be made public?
I don't know. I have to look at it again, just make sure it doesn't say, hey, if you just blow up right here, the whole world ends for everyone downstream.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of, I mean, like I said, maybe I'm just being paranoid.
Yeah, I'm not being, you're right. We have to be careful of putting out information that could be critical to the
Yeah,
dam's safety.
yeah,
Never mind the poor fisher, he's dead.
So I'll look at it again.
okay. All right, so permit review, where are we at there?
I don't think we have anything new, do
There's nothing, I don't think anything's pending.
Off season. Well, I did find out what we need to pay for licensing. We just have to determine how many licenses we want to buy.
Oh, is that why I couldn't see it?
Yeah, you couldn't see it. I granted you access, but you still couldn't see it because my trial version expired. I had a trial version.
Oh, that's why, okay.
So I put a permit tracker together and I loaded into a SharePoint software, which I got for free trial for 30 days and it timed out. Then I granted Mike access. So the intent is to keep this so everybody can view it, or edit it, depending on what license you want to get. We can also toss it over to other groups within Columbia. So you don't have to keep going back and forth. Just say this is in your queue for review. And it could be more of an electronic feed back and
Yeah.
forth.
That was a great idea that you did. That tracking was great.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get lost. There's a lot of information and then
Well, there's automations that this.
why
smart sheet has.
don't we also review that again? Because I tweaked it during the meetings. I deleted this column, I added this column. So we can finalize what data we should have on it as we go into this fall. So because, questions are gonna come in. So we can have it up and running. It's already in SharePoint and everybody can view it or edit it accordingly. So,
Okay,
Mark, can't that be put into our budget? Wouldn't our budget cover that license for that permit for you?
How much is the license?
it's either 300 a year or 400 a
It's-
year, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure we can handle that.
25 licenses, $7 per month. So,
Yeah, you don't need a license to view it.
Yeah, you actually do, according to this, unlimited
Oh.
viewers, $7 per month.
Unlimited.
Unlimited viewers.
Is 25 the smallest
But
amount?
that's just viewers to
Oh, wait,
edit.
is that SharePoint or is that Smartsheet?
It's Smart Sheet. Did you want SharePoint or
No,
Smart
no,
Sheet?
Smartsheet,
Smart Sheet is what I'm using.
yeah. All right, well, we can figure out the budget.
But if the other departments are gonna tie into this thing.
Right, that's why I was saying,
Then it becomes a thing that the
Right.
town should.
that's why I was wondering how many licenses we should have, if it's just a view only.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, if,
In the
If
wetlands,
you-
for example, wants to edit it, how do they do that?
Yeah.
well, I think you want to be fairly restrictive about who edits it. You know, maybe there's one person from LMAC, one person from inland wetlands. But
Or one
anybody,
person from the building department,
But
or
it's-
a person from zoning, whatever.
right, but it's my understanding of Smartsheet that if it's shared with everybody here, just via, each one of your email address, you could go in and view it. You just won't be able to make, but, for instance, if you're heading up a subcommittee for the permit review,
Yeah.
you would need a license to be able to make that change.
Or it's just somebody designated that I give the data to.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Well, the vision that I saw is if we could go through that portion of it,
Mhm.
Steve, and then just, address each one during the meeting.
Yeah.
As I'm done and I close it, I'm gonna be firing off to the other building department before we walk out of here.
Right.
So that way they'll have it in their queue, they come in the next morning, so there's really no delay.
Right.
That's awesome.
Because,
Yeah,
and
that
it's,
sounds
and
great.
it's, in the automation is very easy to do, so that when it gets, closed here or
Yeah.
whatever, it can leave it here, but it can put it on another sheet that they can look at.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So there's,
I guess what I'm thinking is, who's the master in charge of this?
well, that's, well,
Is it gonna be us, or should it be the building department, or should it?
well, if it's our permit process, then we should be managing it.
And we're
But
managing it
there's
anyway.
But there's multiple permit processes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
You see where I'm
that's
going?
up to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but
That's up to them to deal with their, this
see,
was,
the
this was,
permit,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
No, no, go
but
ahead.
the permit process gets you to the LMAC. So somebody comes into the town, so they want to redo the dock, they come into the town, they get the form comes to us. That's when I put it into this SharePoint. I don't mess with the permit process. That's still the same. It's still gonna be there. I can upload that document into my SharePoint and you can click on it and everybody can see what the request is, and that was my
Yeah.
intent. But
So
I don't wanna change any information. I wanna change the process of getting the permit.
I guess what I'm saying, is there a way to coordinate all these different things into one document? So coordinate
Well-
in the wetlands permit, coordinate LMAC,
If the town
Board of
chooses,
Selectmen agreement, all of that, so that.
fair enough, if the town chooses to take Smartsheet to the next level and do all those integrations, they could certainly do that. The vision and that would take some customization and, which would be a significant investment.
Right.
But for what we're doing here, it was really just to manage this process so that we weren't losing data. It was B, it was more transparent, so everybody had access to the data. And we could finally manage our process, so it was a more of a collective.
Can you put
I'm-
like photos and all that?
Oh, yeah,
stuff in it?
totally.
But what
You
I'm-
could write comments
Okay.
on each line, so it looks like a spreadsheet, but you can click on the line and you can add attachments to that line. And you can add photos, documents, the permit,
Yeah.
and comments. There's another line, there's another way to add
What I
comments.
was looking for is, I guess would be a permit information system. Okay? So if I'm the applicant, okay, and I come in and you give me the link, I can go and see what the status is for my application. Where is it in wetlands? Where is it in LMAC? Where is it in the Board of Selectmen?
So you're not limited to docks, it could be houses, could be barns.
Well, it's up to the town. whether-
Yeah, I mean,
Barn.
I think in the concept of
Denied.
taking baby steps, let's at
Just like
least,
the rest.
let's at least get off the ground with this, and then Smartsheet, to your point, Smartsheet it's very capable of, going enterprise-wide.
Right.
And having, it's also, we have, like at work, we use it for a warranty claim. One of our dealers can literally go online and they go to a link and they can make their application online, and then it pops up into Smartsheet as a new, so I mean, it's a rabbit hole. I mean, it could be.
So is this gonna be accessible by the applicant? Or is it
No,
just for our?
no, just for our use. Right now, it's baby steps.
Here's an example of the spreadsheet, right? Up in the upper left-hand corner, there's a PDF of the application. So you click on that, you'll see what the request is. Over here is the finished doc,
Yeah.
once it's done.
Right.
So we can all sit here around the table, click on the application, look at the doc before and after based on the inspections and say, hey, we're done, closed out. Now theoretically, to your point, we could potentially take that file and drop it into the Board of Selectmen bucket within SharePoint. It says SharePoint, no, it's
Smartsheet.
Smartsheet. I use SharePoint.
Yeah.
Put it in Smartsheet and it would trigger a flag in their queue. Now, I'm probably not smart enough to pull it all together behind the scenes, but I think that could be possible. So as we leave here, if there's 5 queue items for the Board of Selectmen, we push the button, boom, we walk out of here. Now we know it's in their queue. We don't have to call them, we don't have to bother them. They need to now report back to us within 7 days.
And
So
it could send an email with all the information in it. When you go and make an inspection,
That's great.
you can have an
There's-
iPad
There's Common Francis doc.
and be able to add.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of, it's a very capable format. But it just like Excel, it has a lot of ability to customize to whatever the need is. But I think it can absolutely do what you're talking about. But I think the idea in the beginning is to just track it here.
Yeah.
Let's get that up and running to use it for our own internal management. And then if there's opportunities within the town and integration with other boards, then it's just, tweaking and.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem we've had in the past is that other commissions don't coordinate. The commissions don't coordinate. It's been horrible. Inland Wetlands gives an approval and we haven't even done anything.
Yeah,
with the part we did.
and
You know,
two,
so the owner doesn't know, oh, I got my approval, now I start construction.
It's been horrible communication.
well,
And they would think that.
Find it in somebody's desk, you send pictures or data or whatever, and it doesn't end up anywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very interesting to me, 'cause
I mean, this is a great system. But in reality, we have maybe 8 applications a year, maybe?
yeah, but it's just an easy thing to do to manage that, but
I
then,
didn't think it was that hard to manage before,
Yeah.
well,
I'd say the biggest problem isn't managing, it's communication with the other.
but yeah,
Exactly, you say, in the wetlands.
I had 16 since I joined since August of last year.
16?
Some of them are already in the works that I picked
Oh,
up,
okay.
but
I don't think I ever had any more than 10 in a year.
I've got them all listed. That's why it's a good tracking tool.
yeah,
So does the building department or wetlands have anything at all like that going on?
Yes.
They do, so.
No.
One thing you don't want to do is go to
The town doesn't know about it yet. If you give me a minute.
Yeah.
For the last year, we've been installing what's called Permit Link for the town, for the whole land use department. It's an online permit application system, which we're about to go live with. And
I was gonna say.
oh, by the way.
It wasn't live for me getting all my permits.
Well, heck,
I
But
think it
what-
was entered dead.
what you've been talking about originally was an Excel system for internally within your own review system within LMAC, which wasn't part of land use, wetlands, or building official, or fire marshal, so Eastern Island Health District has their own online system, and now land use has their own called Permit Link. So I think what we need to do is come down and look at what Permit Link has and see if you want to expand Permit Link or just have your own internal communication system.
Eastern Islands online is pathetic.
Well, that's another problem because they have their own system. which-
Yeah, but this is different than Eastern Highlands, right?
Yes, it's called, we're on Permit Link.
So
Oh,
will,
what?
will a lakefront owner be able to use permit link to apply for construction on the lake?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Well, yeah, that's a capability, but we don't even know about permit link yet. So I think we need to understand what the system is and how we can integrate it with our. It's
Correct.
in lieu of
And let
that,
me,
yeah.
I'll get a list of what permits are all, they're using it right now. They just haven't launched it live to the public yet. So all the employees are using it.
Okay, well, it would be great to understand what that is, because there's no sense in us trying to build something if you already
Duplicating.
have an infrastructure, to your point, Bob, in town, that we could be a module of that, and that it could auto notify, the other appropriate commissions or agencies in town. Thank you.
So can you elect a representative from LMAC to come and work with the land use department? To see
Yeah,
what
I'll do
we
that.
have?
I nominate Bob.
Bob,
I
you ready?
nominate Bob. There you go.
I think the big difference is, to your point, we have a tracking sheet. They have workflow. What you're
Right.
talking about permit is workflow. Workflow is accessible to, if Steve's built the barn, he should be able to go in and see what the workflow of his permit process is to closing on it.
Right.
And that's the difference.
Well, but, there has been workflow here as well.
Yeah, there's
Much
workflow,
smaller.
there's workflow here
Smaller.
too. And that was my intent, to try to pull the groups together in some type of workflow.
Yeah,
Maybe this is too small an application to put in, a higher level workflow or work.
they may have modules just like
Yeah.
smart. You could
I'll
just
definitely
build it.
take a look at it and.
I mean, because all it
Bob.
is steps in a permit process.
When's your next get together or meeting or?
Happy hour
we
on
meet
Friday.
every Thursday at 1:30 in the land use department.
Thursday, 1:30?
Right. We have a full land use meeting with myself running it.
Well, that would be fantastic.
Okay, sounds like an opportunity here.
All right, great. All right.
The flow chart's already up.
Yeah, the flow chart is,
You want to talk about that since we're talking about permits? And maybe that flow chart would be a perfect thing to align with, permit link to
Yeah.
see how it would fit into the process.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that-
I just went on Columbia Town website and the flow chart from August of 2021 is up there already and it's incorrect. So Mark, we should coordinate whatever it is we decide tonight and make sure we get the right stuff on this new permit tracker thing, because it's already on the town website.
Sure.
But as an update, I just want to recognize and thank Bob Powell. He's already provided some feedback in regards to all our flow charts saying something other than the word approved, since we are an advisory committee. So with that, Bob, I've done some wordsmithing of it, but I was with grandson all day, so don't have the capability of putting it up on a screen right at the moment. But I will take Bob's wordsmithing under advisement. And I think we're just at a point where Mark, Walter, and Jennifer Lavoie should take these flow sheets, finalize them, and move it off our plate. LMAC has advised to a degree, unless there are other major changes that I would have missed. But Bob, you've already, I think, made the important one of we advise, we don't approve.
Any other review or contribution to the flow chart? Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for the work on that. That is a great step forward, certainly to the process, and probably will help integration with the other boards substantially. This is all coming together here.
We're working with
Cool.
Isabel. She has her edits, but then we can post these and publish them via Ripples and on the town website, et cetera.
And then, as kind of a side to permits, Henry's email, talking about, the difference between a raft and a large inflatable float. Such inflatables have to be removed daily or they are considered rafts. And a reminder about height restrictions, including benches, chairs, et cetera, would seem to be advisable to consider, so. Any thoughts or direction on this?
I think in the past, we've allowed a little bit of leeway with the inflatables, like on Fourth of July weekend and Memorial Day weekend, we let people put them up for 3 days, and I think we've allowed that.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's a policing action that, I guess falls under Marine Patrol, right? Because we're not gonna be out there policing, we have no authority,
yeah, yeah.
so.
I don't think Marine Patrol is out looking at whether the regulations are being followed, unless you specifically add that.
I used to have conversations with owners about them when I was on Marine Patrol.
But I think that was, you were probably having those as an LMAC member, weren't you, Bob?
Yeah, I suppose so. Or a danger to navigation or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Some of the inflatables end up being larger than rafts and much higher than rafts. The allowable height on a raft is what, 30 inches or 36 inches or something.
Yeah,
So. the
How far
inflatables-
out, what's the from shore can a raft be?
100 feet max.
And just so everybody knows, we've given out 40 gate keys.
That's
40,
That's about right. That's used.
That's about what we do every year.
yeah,
Thank you.
okay,
And the rafts are supposed to be centered on the property as much as possible.
yeah,
Centered on the property,
Oh, yeah.
supposedly.
okay.
So is Henry asking us to make a commitment to state what we are in fact going to do with the inflatables? and
Well,
that?
we can just leave it as old business if he wants to address it when he's back.
Could someone explain to me what he's talking about with the heights of chairs and things? What, is there an issue that I'm not?
Some people put diving boards on the rafts, for example, they're not supposed to.
Well, I realize that, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about chairs, benches.
Slides and benches and all
On
that.
top of the raft.
Thank you. That's why I was like, where is he talking about?
Anything on top of it. I mean, last year we had a tent on one of the rafts, big dome tent.
My daughter put up a
Hmm?
lemonade stand on that.
I think we're, so I think we're micromanaging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I'm not overly concerned about it, I'm just,
Doesn't seem.
It's the big pink swans that are, 12 feet high.
yeah. In the context of a goose problem.
Yeah,
it's
let's
pretty
let's
minor.
really focus on the issues.
Yeah. Okay,
budget review. right?
budget review.
No.
I guess we're all set for our budget, right, Mark?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Thank you. Your budget did not get cut. You have whatever you requested.
Woo, party, private jets, baby.
Did that include Friday night happy hour?
That might,
No.
might include that.
Didn't?
We're gonna
Nothing
change our-
fun.
We're doubling all your salaries.
0 times 0.
That's right. Okay, all right, on the note of geese, any reports?
Got
We
a-
had an update.
Yeah,
We've been battling them at the town beach. The
Uh-huh.
geese are winning. So we tried audible deterrents, which did nothing.
Jeff,
Now we're trying, in theory, a low-level light teeny strobe that floats in a little float between the two docks that should disrupt the geese's sensitive eyesight at night and keep them from pooping on our docks. So
Any
we're gonna try
feedback yet?
that. Hopefully none of the neighbors see the strobe. We're not sure yet.
Okay,
Okay, I have a clear view of the beach at night, and I have not seen the strobe, so.
Well, it didn't come in yet. We just ordered
Oh,
it.
well, there you have it.
So Noreen, tell me if you see it when we light it up.
Yeah. I'll let you know, you don't tell me when you put it in, and I'll let you know when I finally see it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right?
The best sound, the
But
best
usually my
sound,
eyes are closed at that time.
the best sound is the sound of a shotgun. There's gotta be 35 or 40 resident geese now.
yeah, it's pretty.
We're at least at 50.
Okay, yeah.
We're at least at 50. And there are at least 6 parents with little goslings, numbering from 3 to 12. And there are 14 stubborn adults who won't get off Botticella's land. They're finally getting motion sprinklers. Botticella's live next to me on Erdoney. So you add it up, we're between 50 and 60. Last year, the highest number we had was 52. So when does a nuisance become, should we get a permit?
Well,
You
according
know?
to Min, it was 400 geese or more.
Yeah, I know.
It's a health issue.
Yeah,
We live on a lake.
The dilemma is if we chose, or if anyone, I'm not taking a position on this, to add eggs, where they lay their eggs is conservation land and we can't access it. So this is a unique issue. It's going to continue, in my opinion, to grow to a point where we're probably going to get to 60, 70, 80, or 100 over the next couple of years.
okay. Well, I think we need to leave it in old business as a continuing issue because it doesn't seem to be getting better. And if they're attacking the beach, we are going to have a health problem because the water there, that will be a public health issue.
Right.
The water there is always the first during
Well,
the season.
Crapping all over the beach.
Yeah.
Well, it's the beach.
I thought we all came up with a number
Because I see them all.
that. these
So you have
groups
that
are
sniper
very
perch over your
migratory.
house.
There was like- When we talked to the conservation officer,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ming?
we talked about a number of, yeah, exactly, talked about a number of 42 approximately that we counted. Was it late fall
Yes.
last year?
yeah,
And those we expected all to have,
Little
hatch,
Yeah.
right? So is that just what we're seeing, and these birds are still in the migratory pattern where they're going to leave in the next 2 to 4 weeks?
No, these are.
Doubtful. These are resident. It's my belief my belief is these are residents. The ones I can't figure out are those 14 adult geese. But the other 6 couples with nearly 40 goslings, I think they're resident geese.
So they're resident, they're here to stay?
Yeah.
it seems unusual because you don't normally see them in the middle of July and August, do you?
Well, they may go
All
to,
year?
Utley, they may go to Mono Pond, they may go to a pond on a
Okay.
farm, but they're within reason.
Within range.
Yeah. They know this is their turf. The pain.
They're creatures of habit.
It is a nuisance.
yeah. Well, I think obviously we need to pay attention to this and monitor it moving forward. Yeah. It's a problem.
I would concur. It's a definite nuisance.
Well, but if they get concentrated enough, especially in a public area like the beach,
Yeah.
that becomes a health hazard.
You need to shut the beach down.
Right. You know, And that would certainly not go over well with the residents, shutting the beach down due to geese. So,
Maybe that's what it takes.
yeah. All right, well, we'll continue to monitor this and check its progress. Any other items we need to address?
Yeah, I can bring up one more update, Mike, if you like.
Sure.
In an attempt to keep the pier from degrading on the boat launch side of the pier, because all the repairs were on the beach side of the pier, the Board of Selectmen approved one more no wake buoy out where the boats leave the launch. So we'll have two on the mooring side and one on the launch side, just trying to keep everybody to stay calm, and that once you start leaving the launch, you don't accelerate and dig a giant hole and erode our pier. So one last attempt. So
Yep.
that's on order.
Okay, great. Excellent, excellent. All right.
Mike, what do you want to do about John Burrell? How do we want to treat that?
Well, I think John was very clear, as I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but that he was totally open to resigning from the board and giving up his spot for a more active member, so.
Right, but he never said, I don't think, Mark, you ever got the letter from John, did you?
Not that I'm aware of, but Jen, I could follow up as another to-do for tomorrow. So John Burrell, see if we got a resignation letter.
Yeah, I don't think you did, but you may have.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing it, and I didn't bring it to the Board of Selectmen yet.
Okay, so it's still tabled for old business then, Mike?
Yeah, yeah. All right, BURRILL, right?
BURRILL, yeah.
BURRILL.
Yeah. I mean, since he had told me that he would be happy to assist Henry and would continue
Right.
to do so as an assistant,
Right,
Right.
but not still be on the board.
yeah, I don't have anything formally from him. I mean, he hasn't been to a meeting in years, I don't know that it matters at this point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easiest if we can just write the letter and have them swing in and just initial it. I'd be happy to do that at my office.
All right.
Okay,
Let's do that.
Who will contact him then?
Jen LeBoy, I'll do it, and then I'll send it to Jen, and
Okay,
then she can do it.
okay,
Great, thanks, Phil.
Yeah,
thank you.
This question may be for Mark Walter. Being LMAC advises and we have no enforcement authority, we have no permit on record, and I know wetlands does not either. And we've had construction on the lake happening out of season for construction. And when we told an individual at our meeting via Zoom last month, they had to apply. And there's clearly construction happening now on a right of way on Sleepy Hollow between Carl Foster's and Vinings, Mr. Dobush. Is being we don't have any enforcement authority, we just advise. Mark, you're aware of it. What?
Yes, so we're dealing with legal counsel right now. Isabel, the wetlands agent, has looked at what he's done. She reached out to our town attorney, who actually was involved in the sale to Mr. Dobrush, so he had to abstain from any involvement in it. So we've moved it to another attorney that we use for land use issues, Ken Slater.
Curious,
now-
interesting.
We're waiting to hear back from him. So
Okay. Is
well, I
there
think-
any enforcement when nobody applies to LMAC and nobody applies to wetlands? Is there any enforcement?
So those are all the questions we're asking before we go forward.
Okay, thank you. I'd be
Welcome.
curious to see.
Okay.
I'd hate to see a precedent set where people see that happening and then the rest of the others of the 10% who always do it.
Yeah.
and then wait until the fall to do a permit. But now he wants to fix everything right now. So,
That's his problem, get the permit.
well, he can't do it now.
Oh, I can't do the work.
No, he can't, but he's done some work already, right, Mary?
Correct.
What have you done
Not
there?
in the lake, though, I think on the right of ways.
Mary, what
Right
have you
away.
done?
I'm sorry.
Well, my question was, what has he started to work on and do?
The lake wall, he's brought in stone. He's brought in and built a wood overpass is what I would call it. There was a pipe on the land, but the pipe had not been put anywhere. So maybe the pipe is not going to be used. He didn't clean up the swale at all. He's just built at the lake wall, this overpass. So the water, I guess, goes under and out onto the lake wall. And he has applied stone to his dock area back from the dock. Oh, I'd say about, I don't know, 10 feet or so. There's a lot of cement and wood and stuff. It's hard to describe. I think I sent pictures to Mark Walter.
You did.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it.
That's nothing for us.
No,
No.
it's a good seawall towards the land, it's not us. It's in-
Well, he wants to put the pipe right on his seawall.
And it would be us.
Yeah.
So that would be us.
This was, what, didn't this come up last fall?
It was in
Over the
March.
winter?
It was
in
early,
March.
it was early in the year.
It was in March, and he basically
Yeah.
said, if he can't get any results, he mentioned he may just do this himself, by hiring a contractor, because it takes time to resolve.
Right,
Thank you.
So you do it, you beg for forgiveness, right?
Well, that happened.
So was he, is there some kind of a problem over there? that-
But no,
No, I'm
it's-
saying, is there some kind of
Yeah.
problem?
Yes, yes, he's solving a problem.
Some drainage issues. Yeah.
Drainage, okay.
So he
at
did-
last May's meeting, we walked him through exactly what he had to do. Just apply and we'll work with you. And he
Didn't want to
chose
hear
to,
Now he
after
can-
the meeting, he hung up.
Yeah, some riprap down there, and some soil erosion.
Didn't he want some assistance from the town to do some of the work?
He won the town.
Yes.
Yes, he wanted the town to put the drainage underground. And we told him that 30 years ago, the previous owner requested that to happen and wetlands would not allow it. They insisted that the drainage be above ground through riprap. So I recommended that there's no way wetlands, in my opinion, is going to allow you to do a direct pipe drainage from the road straight into the lake. That they wanted to go over the surface through riprap. So I don't know where we are right now.
The problem is the right of way is this big, and the whole thing's a riprap, so it's hard to walk down on the right of way.
But the riprap can be on the right and the
Yes.
walkway can be on the left.
All he had to do was clean up the riprap. All he had to do, but he's made a mountain out of a molehill.
Well, we don't know what's happened yet, so
Well, he has
I'll wait.
built, yeah.
for a full report from wetlands
Okay,
agent.
all right. Anything else?
I think so.
Good.
Cool. Gotta go.
Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Motion?
I'll second.
Second?
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thanks,
opposed?
everyone.
All right.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you, everybody.
Okay.
Have a great day.